Well, this is cells in action, and I wanted to show you how to do this lab very quickly. The first step to do this is to get 2 eggs. So the first step is we're going to get 2 eggs and then carefully dry them, and we'll pray that they do not break. Okay, so here are my 2 eggs I carefully got from Mr. Magtutu. The next step is to dry them very carefully so they don't break. I'm just going to very carefully roll this egg around on a paper towel. Leave it right here as well. Alright, next step. We need to rinse out our cups and let them dry. Then we need to fill the cups with our liquids that we're going to use. And then we need to label the cups. So, let's do that. So I do have some liquids in my cups. I'm going to go ahead and rinse those out in the sink in the front or the back. And I'll do that right now. Excellent. The next step is to record observations about the eggs before I start. I'm going to make observations about each egg, and I'm not going to mix them up. And then I'm going to put eggs into the liquids very, very carefully. Except I just realized that I forgot to label my cup, so I'm going to do that now. In this cup, I decided I'm going to put in salt water. So to label my egg, I'm going to write salt on the side of it. I'm going to do it in a couple places so I can tell exactly what this is. Okay. So to record the observations, I've decided to use the balance to record the initial mass. But if you wanted to, or if your experiment says to, you could go ahead and measure the width of your egg, the length of your egg, whatever you are going to measure. You can compare against your egg when it's finished. So I'm going to go ahead and mass my egg. To do that, I'm going to use a coffee filter so I don't have to put the egg directly onto the balance. And of course I need to find the mass of the coffee filter. To do that, and smoothly, then you need a new balance. Alright, so I'm going to write down the mass of this coffee filter, and it is 0.3 grams. And I'm going to add an egg to it. Make sure your egg is dry. And the way I use a balance, of course, is to move the slides one at a time until it does not balance. Okay, and this egg weighs 79.1 grams. I'm going to write that down. Now I'm going to take that egg and I am going to put it into the tap solution. Okay, so that's my tap egg, my tap water egg. Next, I'm going to fill up my other cup with salt water and very carefully measure the mass of this egg. So the mass of this egg is 85.6. Of course, that's the egg plus the filter that was 0.3 grams. And this will be my salt egg. So I'm going to take that egg and place it very carefully into the salt water solution. And then I can go to step 4. Step 4 says, make sure the eggs are completely covered with liquid and mark the time. Well, I've got a problem right away because I noticed that my egg in the salt water actually floats. That's going to be good enough for us. If we can get it to mostly be underwater, we're going to be okay, I think. If you can think of a way to keep it underwater completely, go ahead and try that if you're interested. Right now, I'm going to write down the time. And then the next step is to just wait. I'll tell you what to do with this time. Okay? So just wait. All right, well, we've been waiting half an hour, and now it's time to do step 5. And step 5 is to take the eggs out of the liquids very carefully and record the new observations for each egg, and then cleaned up. We'll put the used eggs in the hood. So let's do that. We're going to take the eggs out of the solutions very carefully. And we're going to dry them off so we can measure them again. Now this is where if you measured the width of the egg or the length of your egg, you want to measure that again. I chose to measure the mass of the eggs, so what I am going to do is measure the mass of this egg now that it has been sitting in salt water. So I'm reading that mass as 82.1. That's my salt egg. Okay. I'm going to take that egg and put it back aside because I don't need it right away. Actually, I'm pretty done with that egg. I don't need to do anything else with it. And I'm going to take my other egg that was sitting in the tap water and dry it off. That egg has a mass of exactly 80 grams. Okay. So the next step is to clean up my eggs. So I'm going to take both of these eggs back to the hood at the back of the room and put them into the basket that has all the eggs. Actually, I'm not going to do that, but that's what you're going to do. One observation that you might want to make, though, before you do that is notice what your eggs are like. This is the salt egg, and I noticed that it has a different feeling than the egg that went into the tap water. So those are observations that are worth making. Okay, the next step is to make sure that you've shared the data with everybody, and then to look in the book to complete process and procedures through number 8. So that should be page 54, 55, I'm sorry, 150, 153, 154, 155, and then at the top of page 156, number 8, you're going to add your data to the class data. And let me show you how you calculate your data that we want you to share. All right, so what we want to do actually is calculate the percent change of whatever you measured. That way we compare them evenly to other eggs in the room. So to calculate the percent change, you're going to take the final measurement that you calculated or made, subtract the initial measurement, and divide it by the initial measurement. So I'll give you an example. This is my final mass that I measured, the initial mass I measured before it went into the solution, and the final mass. Now this one was for the one that went into the tap water. So obviously it gained a little bit of mass. I'll have to try to explain that. Okay? I'm going to work this ratio out by subtracting first and then dividing by 78.8, and I should come up with a decimal, and I'll convert that to a percentage, and that's the number we want you to report. In some cases, your decimal might be negative, and that's an important difference between a positive percent change. So if it's negative, let us know. We need to know that. All right. After you've done that and you've reported your group data to the class results list, congratulations, you're done. Notice